Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 6 here in our All the Mods 9 to the Skies playthrough. I've been doing a lot of work both in-game and out-of-game for the last couple of days to get some things set up. One thing I did, and this isn't in-game, it's just I set up some new software on my end to make my editing a little easier. So hopefully now I'll be able to do some more cuts and cut out some of the less important things and stuff. It was just really difficult with the editing process. It took so much time. Now I have ways to make markers when I'm cutting clips and things like that to simplify the process. And I set up some new software for editing. So feel free to leave me some feedback in the next couple of videos to see if there's anything that you would like me to change or, just your thoughts on it. Anyway, in game, I have been working with all of our Autocrafting setup to just work out how to do the different things. It's been a while since I've used the crafters in Refined Store. Kind of had to refresh my own memory of it. And I kind of broke it down into several different types of categories. There's the crafters that we were working with in the last episode, where we have automatic crafting of just crafting recipes. And then we have the processing crafting recipes where we send in items that need to be smelted, or in this case, items that need to be crushed, and they're handled in machines that handle that. I did change it to some mechanism machines that are a little more advanced because these can be configured to be faster. They can also hold more slots, and they don't require fuel, so I just need to send power to them. So power is all coming from the bottom on all of these, and then they're all set up so that when I need glass or processors, I can just send them in and they'll get done. There's some more complicated things too. I just want to go over them briefly. An example of one is that these metallurgic infusers, in order to make my steel, I need to be able to send this pattern in to have an iron ingot turned into enriched iron, but it needs to have the enriched carbon in here. So rather than sending in the correct amount as part of the recipe, I just have this metallurgic infuser set up to automatically have enriched carbon. This one does too, and then I have a second pattern in here for steel dust. That way I have two separate machines that do the same thing as far as the enriched carbon, but I can run iron and I can run the enriched iron recipe and the steel dust recipe independently and make steel as fast as I want. So this is just a setup to show you that this would be instead of using diamond crafters, I said regular crafters, because these machines are only going to be used for steel production. The other thing is in the exporter here, I put in enriched carbon and I set up a crafting upgrade. And what this does is it allows us to automatically craft items to export them out here. And then over here in our enrichment chamber, we have a recipe for how to make enriched carbon. So what that means is when I don't have enough enriched carbon in here to fill this up, it starts exporting it. And then when it runs out, it starts making more. And if I were to fill this back up, this will stop making it because it doesn't need any more to export. That means that as long as this machine is set up with that recipe, I don't need to worry about sending the enriched carbon in here. It automatically stocks it. And then I have other machines that I can do with a redstone, and we'll set up more of those in the future. But that was just to show you how the crafter in the exporter works. The other thing I have set up, and this is kind of just a small demonstration of it. It's more complex when you use it, but I have a system here for making lava, and I have a sink to generate water. In our system here, if I remove this, you can see I have 1,000 or 1,001,000 millibuckets of water, and I have lava in here that's increasing. And the reason for that is that I have, instead of setting it up as a crafter, I have an importer here that's importing buckets of water and buckets of lava through these machines. And then I have detectors here. So these are set to 1 million each. So the detector on the water is detecting from our system that we have over 1 million water millibuckets. And so it's sending out a redstone signal and shutting off this importer. The lava one, since we have less than that, it's not sending out a signal, and this is still importing lava, which means this will continue to import lava until our system has 1,000 buckets or 1,000 millibuckets in the system. I have separate storage for the fluids, and so when both of those are full, it'll take up about half of that storage for now. Then I set up this crafter to this fluid encapsulator, and the recipes in here are for buckets of lava and buckets of water, and they export the water and a bucket into this machine to make buckets of water and lava when we need them for crafting recipes. And if we look at our crafting recipes, a good example of that is these cobble generators. So if we look that up, when I go to craft a cobble gen tier 1, it needs a bucket of water and a bucket of lava. Well, it needs 2 of them. And it will, well, this is a tier 2, but it needs 2 of them. If we looked at like the diamond one, the top tier, it needs 5 total. It knows it has 2, and it has 5 of these available, so it's just going to make the ones that it needs. In fact, let's make one of these just so we can see how it's going. Over here, it's going to start bucketing up lava for us so that we can use them in crafting recipes. So this is just an example of how we can use the detector to keep our system stocked with the material. The last thing is with the example of our cobblestone and our gravel over here. Instead of using the detector, I'm limiting our system by using these storage barrels. So this one has all these upgrades. I can hold 536 million cobblestone in this barrel. This cobble gen is going to keep pumping it into here until we hit that point. And it's going to store in our system because this machine here is linked to here, the controller, and this is linked through a external storage to our system. And so that means that this will all show up in our machine or a refined storage system. We have that cobblestone available. It doesn't take any space in here, but it is available to us. I have another one set up for gravel, which is similar, where I have cobblestone being turned into gravel, and it's going in here, but I haven't put in any upgrades. So this system has 8,192. Our system over here, if we look up gravel, has 8,194. And it's not going to put any more in until I take gravel out. And then this will start processing. It'll see that there's space. It'll start making more gravel for us. If it's full, it'll say it's full and it'll stop. So this can just run forever and only give us enough to do it. If I now grab some stack upgrades, make 4 of these real quick. And I come over here and I put these into this system. Now we have enough space for 536 million gravel, and this is going to continuously run making gravel until our system is completely full of it. The other thing is, and I should check this because I don't know if I did it when I just set it up. The priority on this, we're going to make this to be 100. Oops. Whereas we have the priority on this system. Oh, we don't need to. It's not a priority on here. This is set to -100. That means with the gravel, let's disconnect this just for a second. And so when we go in here, we can see that there's some gravel that went in there because it didn't have anywhere to go. And if we set this up now, this has 8432, and if I put more gravel in, it's going to put it into this system over here because this has a higher priority, and I won't end up with any gravel in my drive. And if we further go and do this, let's see if I can do this on camera real quick. I want to set up a void upgrade. Teach it to make this. Put that down here with the other upgrades. If instead of having this set up to be 3 of these, I put a void one on the end, and I configure this to void overflow, then this system, well, actually, let's pull it down so that we only have that many in. Actually, I think we're too high real quick. Let's go under the 8192 mark. And then we'll pull this out. So now 8192 is the maximum amount of gravel. Now, instead of it stopping production, it will keep putting it in there, but it's going to void anything over the maximum amount, which means if I were to pull some of this out, let's just pull one out. Let's pull this many out. All right, so this is full now. It's still producing gravel. And when I take these 6 in, instead of it storing it in the drive, when I shift it in, it's still going to only have 8,192 because this had a higher priority. This avoids the excess. So when I threw that extra gravel in, it voided out the excess. And that means now any gravel I go in will stay in here. I will always have 8,192. Or if I have less, it will keep producing it to make it so that we have that much total. So that's some of the more complicated auto crafting systems that we're going to be setting up. We're going to be doing that for kind of everything as we go. It's not what I'm going to be working on today, but I did want to show you just to kind of wrap up the idea with the refined storage systems before we get started on something else. I do have a lot of things I want to work on. We're kind of at that point in the playthrough where there's a lot of directions we can go. But one of the big things I want to do is we have all these platforms we made. I want to start getting ready to make the actual builds around them to make our larger build overall. And to do that, I need to do some auto crafting to get a few things made. And so I'm going to set a few of those up, and then we'll go through them. And that'll be our big project for today. Okay, I set up a couple more things. Basically, what I'm trying to do is the build is going to have some glass spheres containing the whole build. The goal is to have one clear one that goes around this center section, and then we will have some different colored ones around each of the outer protrusions going out. So first I want to build the big one around the middle here. The problem is that I don't just want to use glass to do it. I want to use clear glass to do it. So I have glass being made here. Cobblestone is turned into gravel through this machine, sent over here and turned into sand. The sand is then cooked. These can all be sped up later using different upgrades, and this can get the mechanism upgrades. Or we could make this even bigger if we need to get more glass. But for now, we're slowly making glass. In the system over here, we're making clear glass when we need it. So if I go in and I say I need clear glass, let's say I want a stack of it, I have enough glass in here. Yeah, I have enough glass in here. And so now it is crafting glass for us. I think that it's actually cooking some more glass because we didn't have enough, and it's cooking it over here because I still have that recipe in, and that's fine for now. Eventually we'll get that sped up so that we'd always have enough glass in stock, and then we won't have to use that. But that made us clear glass, and the clear glass that I want to use it because when you connect it, it's clear. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. So I want to have a building around here that is spherical. I want it to be glass, and I want it to be the clear glass. For the outer ones, I'm going to have to work on getting some dyes so I can make different colors, because those spheres are going to be different colors than this one. But for now, I can do that. So what I want to do next is I'm going to get my builder, and I have to do some calculations on where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to set the builder up so that it puts a sphere around this center section. And then I will set it to export glass as it crafts it using the glass that we're making over there. And so it will slowly and automatically build the sphere around my structure. Gotten my builder in place. So you can kind of see the preview here. What is this? Oh, it's an archer on top of a bee. That was interesting. Anyway, I got the builder in place and I have the preview on so you can see how big this sphere is going to be. It's pretty huge, but it is kind of centered around this platform. This is like an upper platform. If we go to one of the sides over here, I'll show you. It's up towards like the top. That way we can still do another platform below if we want to expand and have more there. Kind of how I was centering it. You know, I could do another platform down here at the lower part of the sphere, or even two if I wanted, if I really needed the extra space. But like this is our main platform where big projects are going to go. And then the platforms over there will also have spheres around them, and they'll be marking out sections where I do more individualized projects. Kind of the idea I'm going for. But you can see how many tons of glass this is going to take to fill in all those blocks. It's going to be a long time to get it done. And it goes all the way up to just below the build height. I have like a 20 block gap there, and I have another, I think it's 16 on the bottom below the void. But so it fills up the entirety of the center of this place. So what we need to do to get this working is I'm going to need to make another barrel. A limited oak diamond barrel will be fine. So we'll craft one of those. And then I need an exporter. We need a crafting upgrade. And then cables, and I think that's going to be it. So let's come down here. I'm going to put this barrel on top. We're going to put the exporter on the back of it. In the exporter, we're going to put in the crafting upgrade. We're going to set it to export clear glass. It's set up as items, ignore redstone, stack mode on. So now if I connect a cable, this should be putting clear glass in here. It is. So I'll put these in too. And you can see that it's still slowly going up. And that's because it's crafting clear glass for us. So as long as I have glass in the system, it's going to keep putting clear glass in. So let's go down here. We want to lock that drawer. And then that means that it'll stay clear glass even when we run out, which means in here, ignored, and we can start it. So now it's going to start building using the clear glass that's in here at the areas that it's at. I want to turn off the preview mode because I do not want to have those blocks out there spawning in mobs. So it's building. Is it actually building? I would think that it would be using up those things, but it looks like it's going through and building. I think it would start on this end. Let's go take a look and see if we can see it building. I would have thought that when it started building, it would have quickly run out of glass to place. Go over there and oh, yeah, there it is. So it is in fact building with the glass there. You can see it right around this edge, and it's going to continue building with the glass that it has. So it was probably just going through the chunks, and it was doing the parts where there wasn't glass, and that's what it was counting through, and then it hit the spots where it was, and now it's stalled because it doesn't have clear glass. So every time glass goes in, it's adding more to that thing. We should be out of glass over here probably, or maybe we're just not crafting it as fast as we're able to make glass, which is fine. This doesn't have to go super fast just yet. We can slowly craft it in. I could probably speed this up by using a stack upgrade and some speed upgrades. So let's do that. Stack upgrade. I don't know if that's going to have much effect since we can't craft them that fast, but we might as well because we have the space. Let's do one. There we go. So we'll come down here. The exporter can now have this and these two. So it's going to export as fast as it can make it. So it's doing 4 at a time. I think that's going to be the limit. It's all they can craft at one time. If I set up another system for automatically crafting it, it would probably go faster. But if we look over here now, we can see 4 blocks at a time as it's crafting it. It's just adding more glass to our structure. You see it down there crafting. We can sit here and watch it go. It's going to go very slowly, but that's okay. Like I said, we don't need this to go super fast yet. I can speed up the process of crafting the clear glass and making glass, but to do that, I need more power, because right now we're running off the power from our starter base, which is just this lava tower feeding into those magnators, and we're already stretching to the limit of our power. So what I want to work on next, and this is what I've been working to get to, is making a reactor. And the reason that I kept putting it off is because I needed a place to store items so that I could craft things, because there's 2 different types of reactors I can build. When I go to reactor, I can either go through with the PALA system and make these reactors, or I can use bigger reactors. And before I did it with this, and I will probably make one of these at some point just because I want to do it as well, but I think I want to get into doing the bigger reactors first, because this is a mod that is a remake of an older mod that I've used a lot, and I like these reactors, and I just kind of want to use them again. So the reason I wanted to have the Autocrafting setup and the storage system setup is because these take a lot of steps to make. I need to make a lot of reactor casings. I need to make a lot of other things, large amounts of graphite. I need to make uranium. And it's a lot easier when you have Autocrafting, where you can tell it to craft these components so that you can just request them as you go. So the first thing I need to do before I can even get into doing that, though, is getting deep slate processing going on. And this is another thing that I've been putting off until I had a place to store things, because I did not want to set up another 4 generation system until I was ready to store the items from it. So to do deep slate processing, we need to be able to make deep slate using an igneous extruder. It's going to require us to have lava, packed ice, and magma blocks. That's going to give us deep slate, which we will be able to use through a hammer to get crushed deep slate, which we will then be able to sift, which will give us uranium. So if we go back and look at those, to make magma blocks, we have a couple of options. We can use magma cream to do it. We could also use some stone and a fire essence from Ars Nouveau. Not something I'm going to get into. But the easiest way to do it for us, let me think about how I want to do this, is probably with a drying basin. We put lava in and it gets magma block out. And we can also use a mechanical one to do it a little more automated. Since we have lava production going, this is a fairly easy thing for us to build. We'll get this set up to get magma blocks. The packed ice we can make using ice, but what I'm going to do is we have blue ice that we got from a wandering trader, and I can use an unpacking die in a multi-servo press to make packed ice. That way I can do that, and then after we get the ice from that, I want to make ice this way using the blast chiller so that we can just make huge amounts of ice. Problem is the blast chiller requires that packed ice that we can get. So one way or another, I either need to start with ice and get to packed ice, or start with blue ice and get down to packed ice, but then I can make infinite ice after that. So those are the 2 things we're going to work on, get those set up so that we can get deep slate processing going on and make uranium from it. The deep slate, I want uses for deep slate. Hammer, crushed deep slate will give us the uranium. It will also give us platinum. And if we look at, we're going to run it through diamonds. So we'll get all of these things. So most of these things we already have. But we'll get uranium and platinum added to us for now. We also get some deep slate pebbles, which I will reprocess back into deep slate to give us more. So it's a nice process for us. These llamas are going to drive me crazy. Okay, I really need to set up a system for them as well. There is a trader carpet that makes it so that they spawn in and they show up exactly where I want them. We'll be working on that too. But I'm going to get started on getting the deep slate processing up. I want to have deep slate processing by the end of this episode. Got a few things done. I got the trader thing set up. So this is real simple. The trader carpet here, I think it's called just a trapped trader carpet. You place it down, and then when a wandering trader spawns, it spawns on that carpet instead of wherever they spawn. So I just put some glass around it. Now I can come over, I can check with the trader to see if it's something I want and take care of my llama problem. For now, I'll leave it there. Eventually, I will probably put it somewhere that's loaded off in the distance and just not have to deal with them. Maybe if I am feeling plucky about it, I will set up something to automatically launch them into space or something. I don't know. I have been starting some of the process. Oh, there's another one over there too. They're everywhere. I've been starting the process on getting the deep slate set up. I have the multi-servo press going. This is not showing up. I'm having issues. This is why I stopped to take a moment. I'm having issues with the crafters not showing up when I reload. I had a couple of crashes, and now they're just not connecting, and I'm trying to figure out why. It should have been connected like that. Now, I think it may be because I don't have the cabling done correctly, but I just wanted to see if anybody else had a similar issue. My understanding, I have a cable down here, which was connecting through to there, and it should have worked to make it work. I don't know what's causing the crash either. Maybe there's something weird here that is causing a problem. I want to try to make it so I don't have these loops in the cable. I don't think that they're an issue, but maybe it is, and it's causing some kind of feedback loop. But I'm going to call it here and leave that there for people to take a look at and tell me if they see an issue with how I have it set up. And if not, I'll mess around with it myself off camera. And I'm going to work on getting the deep slate set up off camera because I'm getting close to the 30-minute mark. And I really want to get an episode out today as well. So we do have the glass is still operating. I paused it now, but we got to that far with just that little bit that we did. Once we get more power, we can really ramp it up and get this thing being built. And then hopefully the other ones as well, and get the final idea of how this is looking together so we can decide how we want to proceed with it. But I'm happy with it so far. I'm happy with the state of our auto crafting and our ability to keep things in stock here. I want to get the power up and running so that we can move all of our starter stuff up here and set them up in a way where we can process more quickly. Because right now the big bottleneck we have is that we have a lot of raw ores in here, and it doesn't very quickly process through them. So for now, I've just been grabbing what I need and running it for a while until I get a decent amount of it, and then I'll switch it and get another one. I want to have it processing everything and be able to ramp that system up so that we get tons and tons of ore processing. But got to take it in steps. We're at the point where there's lots of things going on, and I'd like to be able to do it all at once. But sometimes you just got to work through the smaller steps to get you where you want to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. This was a little more of a talking kind of episode to show you the things I'm working out with our auto crafting system. But we are definitely getting there, and soon we will be able to really jump into the craziness that is the thing. Next episode, I think I'm also going to take a little bit of time to go through the quest book, which I haven't been doing, and check some of those things off. because that will be helpful to guide us with maybe some ways that we haven't thought of to make things go a little faster. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to call it there. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.